Number 3 in our starting 5, NC State. We're getting you set for that game against Miami. They're rolling right now. They won 15 of their last 16 games, riding an 8-game win streak. Isaiah James has been the leader of the pack. She's scored a combined 58 points over her last 2 games, the most in a 2-game span by any NC State player over the last 15 seasons, shooting 56% from the field as well in those 2 games. What are you seeing right now, Kelly, out of Zaza?
We're seeing Showtime. That's what Wes Moore calls her. I mean, she's Showtime. She can go out there and absolutely change the game with just her pure talent and ability to score. I know we love to talk about defense, Coach. I know we love to talk about, defensive scheme and all this stuff. But the bottom line is, when you have a player that is that talented and is the most talented player on the floor, you can say, go take over the basketball game. And that's what she did against Duke. And that's why recruiting is very important. And I know you know that. But we're seeing the Isaiah James we saw in the NCAA tournament last year when she averaged 24 points per game, was the MVP of that regional to get them to the Final Four. It feels like she's flipped a switch, and she's just so fun to watch.
She's got a swagger like Ivory Latta.
Hey,
she
Coach,
does.
She really does.
I love to see the confidence.
See that.
I mean, she wants the ball in pressure situations. She rises in the big games. She is doing everything they need to do. But they have a good supporting class as well. But she's definitely the star.
What I'm saying about Isaiah is she letting the game come to her. And when you see her play, it's all smooth. But when I tell you, when she starts chewing that bubble gum and running down the court, you can just get ready because she's about to give you some buckets. It's a big difference maker. But she is scoring at will. She's taking her time. She's doing it within the offense. Any opportunities that she can drive or give a teammate, a good pass. But mostly right now, her main thing is, I got to score the basketball. I got to make sure my team get the win.
And I see you smiling when you talk about it because it's a joy for you to watch her playing the way she's playing.
Yeah, but it's just not about the scoring. It's the fact that she found her joy back, in the playing basketball, because at first it was a little rough. She didn't get a rhythm. Her shot wasn't falling. Now when you see it, it's just like, okay, good. Like, she's taking her time, letting the game come to her, and that's what you want as a player.
And I see the pieces all starting to come together for NC State as a whole, led by Zaza James. Coming up here in just about 11 minutes, Miami at NC State. Sanaya Rivers getting shots up. Pre-game, you see where she's expected to go in the WNBA draft. First, she'd like to take the pack on another deep run in the NCAA tournament. More on the other side of the break here on ACC PM.
My brothers and my dad are the ones who really got me going into basketball. But my former high school coach, Amanda Holder, is the one who put the ball in my hand first, because I would have to go to practice with my older sister all the time. And instead of me watching practice, I was in the hallway doing cartwheels and handstands with her daughter. So she decided one day, this kid is pretty tall, I better put a basketball in her hand. I knew what basketball had done for me as a player. I knew I wanted to coach. I knew I wanted to teach high school. And so I was like, this is an opportunity. I'm young, I don't have any responsibilities. Why not? Give it a try. These young ladies, they make a bigger impact on me than I feel like I make on them. The times have changed, and so I've had to make adjustments as time has gone on. But I'm considered Mama Nikki, and I know that I love on them, but at the same time, I have to kind of steer them in the right direction. I feel like I'm making an impact because later, when I get all the text messages when they graduated, when I get the phone calls, when I get the invites to weddings and baby showers and all that stuff, it makes me feel good. I feel warm and fuzzy that I've done something. I've left a lasting impact in these young ladies' lives. I think it's important for us to continue to grow in this business, continue to give back in this business for not only the college kids, but for the younger generations to come.
We talk so much about head coach Wes Moore. Associate head coach Nikki West deserves a lot of credit and love as well. And you can see the love from her to her players as well. And she works with the post players, including Tilda Trieger, the young one for NC State, and she's made a massive impact on her and these post players this season.
She's one of the best assistant coaches and post coaches in women's college basketball, and she was a great player at Clemson, so let's shout that out. But let's look at these young posts for NC State and how they're coming along. We've all talked about this is kind of the missing piece. This is a great high hedge by Duke, but an even better read by true freshman Lorena Owu. She realizes the hedge is there. She's going to trust her guard to get out of there and find her. And a great job by making herself available, but knowing she had a smaller player on her to post her up, get that ball, make a quick decision, and go score. On this play, you'll see Owu on the pick and roll. She's open, but Sanaya Rivers doesn't see her. She passes the ball out to Madison Hayes. That's still a high percentage shot. But instead of saying, oh, she missed me, I'm going to go rebound the basketball and make my presence known in other ways. Gets that rebound on fellow true freshman Toby Fournier, the finish and the and one. A massive play for NC State in that win. Another true freshman for NC State in Tilda Trieger realizes everyone is covered, but there's some open space here. I can use my size, makes herself available, and scores over the senior in Michaela Timpson. In another situation similar to Owu, she's open, but they don't find her. But instead of saying, oh, she missed me, I'm just going to give up on the play, let's make my presence known in a different way, grabbing that offensive rebound and scoring between 3 FSU players. It feels like these young bigs guys are understanding their role. You've got prolific guards around you. You might not always get the ball or have a play drawn up for you, right? But you can rebound, you can make your presence known in other ways, and you can play your role. And we're really seeing that from Owu and Tilda Trieger.
They're doing a great job of hitting her on the pick and roll at just the right time. You don't want to give that post where she's going to have to take a couple steps or maybe put it on the floor. You want to get it so she can catch and score. That's how you get them to get better and look for the ball. They're doing the job on the boards. I'm really impressed with the work the post coach is doing. Nikki's doing an absolute fantastic job, well respected in the coaching profession. Love where the posts are going right now.
As a guard, you would love to see that post hit the screen. Don't hold it and just sit there and try to keep fighting, and get an offensive foul. They're doing a great job of just hitting the screen and rolling. But the guards are doing an even better job of not putting them in a bad position where they can catch, or get a charge. They hit them right in the pocket, and they're able to lay it up. And Owu, hey, man, that dude game, baby, she came out her shell. That was her game right there.
Coach, like, what do you say about her? Woo, woo, woo.
I'll tell you, if my post would walk or something in a pick and roll, I would just immediately yell at the point guard because it was their fault for putting him in that position. I know that never happened to you.
Never, Coach. They didn't get it.
So now that you know, starting this season, the biggest question mark for NC State was the post play. Now you're seeing the evolution of these young players throughout the season. What are your thoughts on State and the big picture moving forward?
It's massive. I think if NC State is going to make a Final Four again, yes, so much of it's going to fall on those 4 guards. And they have 4 of the best guards. That guard group, I'd put that guard group up against anybody in the country with Hayes, Brooks, Rivers, and Isaiah James. But you need consistent post play. And Coach, tell me this. What I like about NC State is they've got 2 freshmen they can work with because we still know freshmen are freshmen. And Owu played great against Duke. Trieger played great against FSU. So you don't need one of them to play well every night. You just need both of them. You just need one of them to show up.
Yeah, and they've just got to sometimes be big. And like you said, they're not going to be looking. They're not the first and second option. They've just got to do their job. They got to be there on defense. They got to rebound. They got to know who to outlet the ball to. I think they're really coming along. But, the freshmen, their job is to be up and down. I think they've just got to be inconsistent. You know it as a coach. You just got to live with it.
They got great guards. The post players are stepping up. But Zam Jones, I mean, she is also looking to be the key to come in. She's give that energy that the team needs, but she also give that scoring. Now, it's a couple times we need to talk to her about throwing the post player the ball for them to walk. But she's going to learn. Like you say, freshmen, they give you up and down. Post player doing a good job for NC State.
I'm glad you brought up Zam Jones, Ivory, because Zam Jones is the freshman on this team that has the highest ceiling. I mean, she's going to end up being a great player for NC State. She just happens to be behind Isaiah James, one of the best players in school history. So she's going to make her mark in some way.
But you know what? That's not bad to be around. Sit there, learn, Isaiah did the same thing. Be a sponge, soak up everything.
Between Zaza, Zam, Owu, this is an all-name team for NC State. Debbie Antonelli, Angel Gray are going to be on the call of this one at Reynolds Coliseum between the Canes trying to pull off an upset against NC State. For Ivory Kelly, Coach Muppet McGraw, I am Taylor Tannenbaum. We'll see you at halftime of this one. Enjoy.
We welcome you to ACC Network Basketball presented by Ally. And thanks for joining us in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're at the Reynolds Coliseum for your Thursday night ACC showdown between the Miami Hurricanes. They're fueled by the Cavender twins, but they hit the floor against NC State and another sharpshooter in Isaiah James. She's logged 58 points over the last 2 games. And in case you missed it, the Pack are back in the top 10 for AP polls. And let's take a look at the ACC standings. The Pack have only dropped 1 game in ACC play, right behind Notre Dame, still undefeated. Another game to keep your eye on is Louisville and FSU, a big one for them there. But we welcome you courtside. Thanks for joining us. I'm Angel Gray, alongside the Hall of Famer and Debbie Antonelli. And we'll stay with the Pack, who's found that success in the 8-game win streak because of some dynamic guards.
One of the things you do as a coach is every week try to get your team just a little bit better, and that's exactly what Wes Moore has done behind the play of his dynamic, explosive, elite backcourt. Sanaya Rivers, when she rebounds, she changes the whole game for NC State. She gets them up tempo, plays with pace. She's great at finishing in transition, and she can lock you down on the defensive end. Isaiah James leads the team in scoring. I think Isaiah James is one of the top 10 players in women's college basketball. She can score at all 3 levels. She has the ability to get a bucket at the late clock or in a late game situation.
Top 10 like her jersey, but she has help as well. How about 4 of the 5 starters have logged a double-double on the season? Surprisingly, Isaiah James has not been one of them.
One of the things that makes this team so elite is that they understand their role and they play in their role to the best of their ability. The first 3 score, Madison Hayes puts it all together, playing out of position and playing undersized at the 4.
But hey, Haley Cavender is not too shabby herself. 4th in the ACC in scoring.
Haley Cavender is fun to watch because she loves to play the game. She leads Miami in scoring. She's one of the top scorers, as you said, Angel, in the ACC. And when you watch her and you know her story, which we're going to share a little bit about, you're going to see why this young woman loves to play the game so much.
And the ball is up. Brian Brunette, Carla Fountain, and Jules Gallion. The officials, as didn't take much time for them to use the whistle, as we have a tie-up. And we will reset things in the circle, as the Pack have done very well at home this season, 13-0. How about them with the longest active home win streak, going back to last year at 18, and start off with the Rock in their white jerseys?
It's a tough environment, the biggest, loudest pep band in the country.
Out of the gate, how about Madison Hayes searching for that 1,000-point, takes the 3 to start the game, but gives it back to Miami.
You know, we had that conversation with Madison. She needs 2 for 1,000. Not surprised to see Wes Moore try to reward his senior by running the first set for her to get a look, just to get it out of the way so that they can move on.
Here's your Miami starting 5. We talked about the Cavender twins and how explosive they are. Haley leading the way for points. Hannah does a great job with facilitating, and they're on the board first.
And what you're going to see is what I call a butt screen. Cameron Williams sets a butt screen, which allows her to roll quicker to the basket. That's why Cavender was wide open.
Response on the other end, nothing there. Whistle blown. It will stay on this side of the floor, as Carla Fountain saw a little bit of more activity on that rebound.
Watch this butt screen by Cameron Williams. See, she's using her backside to set the screen. That's not illegal. That's actually a really good job to free up your leading scorer and best shooter, Haley Cavender.
Coming off a game against Duke where she had 10 points, did not shoot well from the floor. 4 for 11 as the Pack get another look at the rim. Zoe Brooks pulls up, midi, no good. Haley sends it up, gets one in the air, sends it back to the corner. This one coming from Roberts, off the mark on the 3. Up the floor, and quickly Isaiah James gets one on the board.
It's only 1 on 3. I mean, that's the speed and transition game. And Trisha Cullip, the head coach, told us, number 1, transition defense, number 2, no live ball turnovers.
Emphasis in shoot around earlier from the Miami side for the coaches was keep them out of the paint transition. A big part of how the Wolfpack have been so explosive on the offensive end, especially over the last 4 games. In and out work as this baseline jumper, no good. And Haley Cavender, off to a great start, has been all over the stats to start this game.
Well, Haley Cavender is one of the top rebounding guards in the ACC, better than 7 a game. It's amazing at 5'6", but it speaks to her toughness.
So tough, has over 1,000 rebounds already in her career. That touched a couple of hands, and the 3-ball good in the corner.
Natalia Marshall, the transfer from Notre Dame, missed last year with the ACL injury, but boy, she is a weapon outside the three-point line. She's shooting 39% for a 6'5" player. That's outstanding.
And how about this, Debbie? She only took 1 3 during her 3 years at Notre Dame. She's now leading Miami in three-point percentage. So another foul.
We talked about Madison Hayes having an opportunity to get 1,000. She's going to get a chance right here on the free throw line.
So Jasmine Roberts picks up her first foul, second on the team, as Madison Hayes has an opportunity to log a few points here. Can't commit on the first one, shooting 80% from the free throw line this season.
Maybe she doesn't want to get that 1,000 points yet.
Well, she told us earlier that she wanted to do it by an and one. That's just what she does. 1 point closer.
She sure does. I mean, she has been playing out of position for 2 straight years and stars in her role. It's part of the reason why NC State's gotten better on the defensive end.
The senior 6-foot guard out of Chattanooga grabs another one out of the air and starts the Brookwood zone.
Against the 6'5" player. Oh, look at the quick hands of Cavender. Now, there are 2 of them out there, and you can't tell them apart unless you know the 2 of them, but personally, that's how much they look alike.
Well, Hannah had a good piece of that as she created the assists to that bucket, rocking the 15 jersey.
Well, Hannah has 4 years of plus 100 assists, so she sees the floor and reads the game really well.
Well, she has 101 assists this season. How about Haley having 104? Twin stuff. Jasmine Roberts comes down with the rebound and quickly finds Hannah Cavender. Cavender, baseline Nash. And 1 too many steps, which will be the first turnover for the Canes. And there's a look at Westmore and his 12th season veteran coach. What an amazing run they had last year. Went to the championship game in the ACC tournament. We knew that wasn't going to be the last we saw of them as they made it to the Final Four.
Miami has been in zone on makes and on dead ball situations. And Trieger scores with an and-one opportunity.
Tilda Trieger, 16 points, shot 7 for 12 from the field against Florida State.
This is just a nice feed right here by Sanaya Rivers. Gets a piece of the paint, drops it off on the weak side. Trieger has gotten stronger, playing the game better balanced. And you see how her shoulders are square to the backboard. It keeps teams from blocking her shot.
Kierman Williams charged with the charge there, but mentioning Tilda and what she was able to do, just mentioning against Florida State, but over the last 5 games, she's really pieced things together.
She's gained some confidence. She's a pick and pop threat. She can make the 3. She has shot the 3 well for NC State and shot it well in recruiting. It's part of the reason why West recruited her.
Shooting 33% from distance, has knocked down 7 coming into this game. James, that spot is money for her. Second field goal for Isaiah James earlier. Saw the speed in transition and now the skill on the baseline. NC State out front by 1. Approaching the halfway point here in the first quarter. Haley comes off the screen, beautiful dish and the bucket. Natalia Marshall again gets one at the rim.
I mean, Trisha Cullip took the job at Miami, had 3 players returning, 2 were injured. And the Cavenders called and said, hey, we want to come back. They want to play together. And boy, they have been connected here early on.
The line I love from Coach is that she said they have established the type of culture that we want here when they are gone. And to be able to come back from that, Haley said, I take great pride in that. Learned from the leadership when she was here during that Elite 8 run with Miami. And Marshall continues on a tear. She's relentless on the glass.
So Miami has been playing what looks like a 1-3-1, falls back into a 2-3. They're doing a really good job of scoring to allow them to play the zone defense. I think they'd struggle playing man-to-man against NC State, so the better they can do offensively, the more they can stay in this zone.
Here comes Miami. Marshall has 7 of Miami's 11 points. Hannah off the bounce and gets it to go on the left.
Absolutely fearless. 5'6", fifth-year players in graduate school at Miami living their best lives.
Why not? And on the other side, Brooke says that comes to an end as she gets her first 2.
Westmore really encouraging his team to play some D.
Hannah, who's had 2 games in double figures this season. Coach Phillips talked about her wanting to pass first, but needing more from her on the offensive end. Trieger couldn't find the glass. Two-man action or two-twin action, however they would have worked that on the side, and the same results. Another bucket.
Hey, way to go, Miami. Coming in here, sold out NC State, and not taking anything off of anybody.
Mind you, they've dropped their last 2 games, both against ranked opponents, Georgia Tech as well as Duke. A heartbreaker, lost 49-90. And Coach said they're relentless, they're fearless, and we need a good one here today. Couple of substitutions at the table for Miami at the next dead ball. As Hannah up top, setting up the offense and finds Rogers. Deep 3, and it's good!
My goodness. Trisha Cullip could not have a better start with her team.
The 35th 3 goes down for Darian Rogers as James responds with one of her own.
Response. That should be her middle name, because all season when NC State has been in a situation, she has delivered.
9 points for Isaiah James. They call her Zaza. We can also call her a walking bucket. Marshall at the top of the key. They can't miss.
Way to go, Trisha Cullip. Struggling, comes in here, losing 9 of 11. They do not look like a team that's only won 3 games in the ACC.
One against Pitt, SMU, and UVA, looking for their first win against a ranked ACC opponent. Are on a stretch where they have 2 more ACC opponents that are in the top 25.
Trying to ice that ball screen right there.
9 on the shot clock. Cavender, top of the key 3, and a rare miss for the Canes.
9 for 14 from the floor.
Zoe Brooks, as Trieger tapped it to herself. Marshall thought she had the block, but Trieger will get 2 free throws after the break.
Miami 5 assists on 9 baskets because the Twins are connected all the time. And Isaiah James with a response on the other end. Zaza getting it going for the Wolfpack, trailing by 6.
ACC Women's Basketball is presented by Ally, the bank. That's your ally. And as we continue to acknowledge Black history always. How about the Pack honoring Black excellence with their uniforms? It's featuring quilting patterns that pull inspiration from the artistry, resilience, and cultural significance of quilting within Black communities. You can see what it looks like there on the back of Sinai River. Some beautiful stitching, and I love the artwork down the side as well.
So one of the themes for Adidas with their uniforms is in Black history, quilts, and quilting is an important part of culture. So the designer, AT, on the back of the jersey, got together with Adidas and created that quilting pattern you see on the side of the jerseys to represent Black history. It's a beautifully done uniform. I've seen it all across the country. many Adidas schools wearing the quilted pattern. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. And after the timeout, Miami has not cooled off. They were shooting 65% from the field, 42% from three, coming in, averaging just 31% from distance.
Trisha Cullop on her baseline out of bounds and her sideline out of bounds, and her after timeouts have to be good to pull the upset. And that play after the timeout, that lob to the rim, was so well designed, and a great call from the bench by the first-year head coach in Miami.
And doing a fantastic job of what she has described as setting the culture. Here she is in her first year. Had the best start as a first-time coach in program history and non-conference schedule, going 10-1. About a second difference between the game and shot clock. They're at 14. Three ball good again. This one going down for Lamaya Hilton.
4 triples for Miami in the first quarter.
Mind you, this is the biggest lead for Miami. 2 seconds left. Baseline good. And that'll be down for Madison Hayes. And welcome to the 1,000-point club. As you can see, her parents in the stands, and as the buzzer goes, so does the ball. But a really big moment for her. She said this was for her grandfather, her late grandfather, whose birthday is today. She said, I'm doing this for him. Said she'd point to the sky, but nonetheless, I'm sure he's looking down, proud of baby girl. The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 13th through the 23rd as ACC Unity Week. And with the first 10 down, we go back to a special bucket for Madison Hayes, who has some family in attendance as well.
Mom and Dad proudly representing. So excited. Greta Miles Hayes and Adrian Hayes. Take a look at Madison going over the 1,000-point mark in her brilliant 5-year career. Congratulations to Madison at the end of the quarter.
It was almost 998 because they gave it to the wrong Wolfpack at first. Still a battle as we start off the second quarter here. So Miami with a sharp shooting first quarter. Everyone was involved in on the action. The three-point shooting was very good for the Canes.
3 on 2.
Haley Cavender moving the ball around. Roberts off the bounce. Jasmine didn't like the look. Haley, as the crowd wanted to walk, instead they get the turnover. Sanaya Rivers with numbers. Didn't like the look at the rim. Zamaria Jones in and connects.
Zamaria Jones, they call her Zam with the bam from 3.
What a ceiling she has, fearless. Got a couple of starts this season earlier. Was dealing with a hand injury, so sat out a couple of games, but has it taped up right now.
Well, NC State's got to provide much more resistance on the defensive end.
Zam again. This one off the mark, and Jasmine Roberts comes down with another rebound. That'll be her 4th.
I think that's too quick in the shot clock. I'm sure Westmore would rather have them move the ball a little bit and let Zam get it on a reversal, where she can also have an opportunity to attack a closeout. But first pass is tough.
Cameron Williams held that screen a little bit too long, and so that'll be a turnover. Her second foul as well. Cameron Williams, a big piece of how they've tried to establish themselves in the paint. And we'll sit down with the 2.
Miami back in their man, icing ball screens, which means they're trying to keep the ball on one side of the floor.
The look and the bucket. Lorena Awu can add on the points at the free throw line.
This freshman has some moxie about her. It's a great pick and roll, has the size advantage, great body control to finish around the rim. Only played hoops since her freshman year in high school. She has not been a long-time basketball player, but her upside is tremendous. Look at her improvement alongside the bigs in the front court for NC State. It's got to be by committee. Lizzie Williamson is not available for the rest of the season. It's the 3 young players, 2 freshmen and a sophomore.
The Packet pulled it within 4. Largest lead was at 10 for Miami. Jasmine Roberts pulls up, can't connect, and you can feel the momentum shift for NC State. Hayes, top of the key, Trey. Back iron is Haley Cavender, got stripped. Zaya James finds her teammate for another bucket of woo.
Tricia Cullip's upset because the lead official was already turned his back and sprinting up the floor and didn't see that play, which in front of Coach Cullip thought was a foul, and it gave NC State 2 points.
Also, the 6th turnover from Miami as Haley tried to kiss it off the glass, couldn't connect, and they're shooting a different percentage here in the second quarter, just 33% after the first quarter, finishing at 65. James.
Probably not a good shot right there.
That would have sent them ahead. The poke from behind for Jones. She's just so crafty with how she creates extra plays.
NC State, when Miami's in their man, has multiple matchups with size and the ability to go off the bounce, but they have to be smart about it. And settling for 3 consecutive 3-point shots plays right into what Miami wants them to do. So now Miami is dictating the shots that NC State takes, not NC State dictating the shots.
Well, Coach Moore didn't like the extra 3s going up too, so Jones will take a seat just to get some communication there. Well, coming up next, Hannah Hidalgo and number 2 Notre Dame take on Pitt. Then the night is capped off by Syracuse and Stanford at Maples Pavilion. 2 great games that you definitely want to make sure all the tablets are powered up.
Well, what an environment and atmosphere we have here.
Wolfpack on an 8-game winning streak. Have been really good in that stretch, taking down back-to-back top 25 opponents, taking down Duke, and a dominant win over Florida State at Donald Tucker Center, giving the Noles their first loss at home. Rogers, another deep 3. Wow.
Come on, Darian Rogers. Bring it. Number 8 in black, filling it up from deep. I'm gonna have to get my tape measure out.
Started the last 6 games, has more points from 3 than 2, and we can see that now as, how about a woo, putting on a show to start this game. Has 7 on the board, backdoor off the glass, can't connect. Sanaya Rivers tried to spin her way into a couple of points and a turnover at the top of the key by Brooks.
NC State's best in transition, but when they're making good decisions, and their poor shot selection allows Miami to run. Sanaya Rivers that time is going 1-on-4.
Marshall, the only player in double figures, now with 12. Under the 5-minute mark here in the second quarter, it's been all fuel. Fast pace for both teams. As the take by Devin Quigley, you can count that too.
And this is a good-looking freshman for NC State. Can't have enough guards as we approach March, and the young backcourt is emerging equally as well as the front court. Devin Quigley through the contact.
Coming up at halftime, the ladies and I will break down the first half of this game at Reynolds Coliseum. We'll look into Florida State's really slow start. Coach not loving what she's seeing, and we'll preview the games coming up at 7. Angel, Debbie?
Thanks. We have a great game here at Reynolds Coliseum. And Debbie, if you can, just help us break down what we've been able to see in the first quarter and how the Pack have responded in the second.
Well, Miami came out and played so well, shot the ball well, got whatever they wanted, moved the ball, and had the right people taking shots. And NC State has gone into this little section of the game where they are quick shooting. I think Tricia Cullif's game plan has been on time, and she's gotten back in transition. Her team has made shots. They do not look like a team that's only won 3 games in the ACC.
This is their 3rd straight ranked opponent. And a very dangerous team, and that's the same respect that the staff has. Westmore came over and told us they're a very dangerous team, very quick, and have the weapons to knock down shots. And we've seen that so far in this game. They outscored the Pack 26-18 in the first quarter, but right now NC State outscoring them 13-7 in the second.
Hannah says to Haley, give me the ball.
Short shot clock, 5 left. Another 3 ball, that one no good. Haley Cavender gets the rebound and the putback.
The smallest player on the floor. Only one went to the glass. All other Miami players got back in transition. She can shoot whenever she wants. Isaiah James, anytime. You want to break off the offense, break it off.
Well, I think also when you have a 36-point game against Duke, the light is as green as it gets.
Good defense right there, denying Cavender the basketball by James. And there's the almost the pick in transition up the floor.
The last 3 possessions for Miami, they've gotten shots off in the last 4 seconds of the shot clock. Got to credit the Pack's defense. Another turnover for Miami. Top of the key. Trigger couldn't connect there, but as you mentioned, can extend the floor.
She's going to cross it up right here. I thought she was going to cross it up left.
Marshall sends it to the corner. Hannah can't connect. And Madison Hayes comes down with the rebound. And you can see a slight reset for NC State. Now setting up in their half-court set. James going at the zone. A lot of ball fakes will get you a bucket.
Yeah, Zoe Brooks has really done a nice job blending her own scoring in the paint with distributing the basketball. Earlier in her career was all scoring. Now she's making the right read and making good decisions.
Pull the trigger now with 6 points. The fade to the corner, the 3 avoided, but the foul will be committed by Devin Quigley.
So the ball gets reversed by NC State, and on the skip right here, watch Brooks jab, get her defender in the air, get to the paint, draw the second level, drop it off for an easy 2. Very well done by the sophomore.
What I love about it is how she sells it with the eyes, a lot like Marshall, who was selling everything at the rim. Now with 14, what a start for Natalia Marshall.
What a game.
It's been a fun one that has gone back and forth. Miami still holding a 2-point edge. The take and another and one. Why not, Devin?
I mean, I love the way Devin Quigley attacks the elbow. A little hezzy and then a finish with contact. Dribble handoff, she comes off this, Trigger rolls into space and takes Marshall with her. It's a great read by Quigley. That's why the roll is so important, and the hard cuts are important, and the dives on the right timing important.
And the foul will go the other way as Trigger came over the top, didn't like the call. And for Trigger, that will be her second foul. So immediately a substitution coming in.
Nope. Sorry, but nope. And you know what? You don't see a lot of fouls called on the free throw line. I'm sorry, but the reason why they've changed some of the rules is to avoid having to call any fouls on the free throw line. That's why we shoot 2 now, Angel, not 1 and 1.
the lesson for everyone at home.
That's the reason they gave me years ago. I still want the 1-on-1 back, but I think I've been outvoted.
By who?
Everyone.
No way. Less than 2 minutes in the first half. It's been a great game. Powered with offense from both sides as Hannah Cavender loads up for the three. Can't connect, and it goes out of bounds. Miami wanted the same call on the other side. The Wolfpack get it back.
Let me just say this. I love the way the Cavenders compete. I love how tough they are. I love how much they love to play. And we had a great conversation with Haley today, right? I mean, you just can feel the infectious energy coming out of her. That kid is in incredible shape and just loves the game.
Obsessed with winning as that three ball for Sanaya Rivers gives the Wolfpack the lead, and the lead for the first time since it was 8-7. The improved three ball for Sanaya Rivers. She said she worked on that on the offseason. The contact as Haley Cavender wants it from the free throw line, but actually Colin Fountain saying that's going to be on the floor.
You mentioned it, Angel. Sanaya's improved three-point percentage. Feet under her shoulders, elbow under the ball. Time to shoot it. That was almost a foul. I'm not sure she had space to land.
Surpassed the 1,000-point mark against Virginia Tech, has really put on a show in this season, and the take by Marshall short. James sends it out to Brooks. Fixed the seams, couldn't knock that three down, and a foul will stay here. Less than a minute to play in the first half.
All you young players, watch what Isaiah James does up the floor. She is running right up the backside of one of the Cavenders, and watch how many times she changes her direction and the Cavender switches. Watch, 1, 2, 3. So she gets to the nail, and it sets up Brooks because she is going right at the backside of her, which is really tough to guard in transition.
And because of that rebound and putback, actually Natalia Marshall committed the foul, and so Lorena Awu will have an opportunity for free throws with packing the bonus.
And you know what, Angel? I know Ivory's in the studio, and she heard me say that, and she knows exactly what I'm talking about because she was really good at it.
She did it a lot, I would say, off the glass. Ivy did a lot of that too, or was that just bottom of the net from three, as she's knocked down more than anyone in the ACC. Closing seconds of this first half as we are tied at 40.
Confused on what we're running here is NC State. Not confused is Miami and their effort on the defensive end.
And not confused is Brooks as she gets back in the bag for two. Second field goal of the game with Miami holding for the last shot of the half.
Gonna go 1-4 low. We haven't seen this set yet.
On the game clock. Hilton, two to work with. Sanaya Rivers, you can't get stuff over her as she ends this half with the block. And the Wolfpack up by 2.
I'm going to tell you right now, Miami came to play, and they have been terrific. They're on the glass. They're getting what they want. Trisha Cullip's got to feel good about her team being down 2 points to a top 10 team. They certainly don't look like a team that's only won 3 games in league play.
Not at all, with the Wolfpack taking charge, a 10-point advantage over Miami in the second. That will do it here in Raleigh for the first half. We'll send it to the studio now with Taylor Tannenbaum.
Angel, Debbie, thank you so much. Welcome in studio. I'm Taylor Tannenbaum alongside Ivory Laddick, Kelly Gramlich, and Muffet McGraw. Right now, NC State with a 2-point lead over Miami there at Reynolds Coliseum. Miami dominated the first quarter. NC State took the second quarter, and now it's a close game at halftime. Coach, what would you break down what you just saw in the first half?
Well, I think first as a coach, you come in and your team clearly clearly was not ready to start the game. Miami came in like, we got to get out of the bottom of the league. We want to make the ACC tournament. We're here to play. We got something to prove. NC State, a little complacent coming out. But I think they did a good job kind of righting the ship in the second quarter. So I'm sure Wes has some good points to make with them. But, you know, they're spending too much time taking bad shots, quick shots, and too many threes, and they're not hitting them. Yeah,
NC State did respond. I mean, the first quarter, let's give a lot of credit to Miami. Obviously, Haley Cavender can play. This is a talented team, a bit undersized at times, not as much depth, but they have talent. Nat Marshall with 14 points. If I'm NC State, one of my big things I'm looking at is we got to guard the three. We've got to know who can shoot it. Nat Marshall can shoot it. Cavender can shoot it. Miami hit 6 threes in the first half. NC State's got to buckle down a bit on defense.
Yeah, they got to get down on transition defense. Nat Marshall is literally just running them down the court, and NC State, they can't start like this. They have to come out with aggressive defense, and they just let Miami just take over, but they came back at the end.
How about Zaza James, 11 points for State in the first half, real quick, Ivory?
Zaza, I mean, she's doing what Zaza does. I mean, she's out there hooping. She's getting her shots. She's taking her time, and her team is, you know, help her team get back.
Best players step up when they're needed the most, and that is Zaza James. Lorena Awu, have yourself a game, young buck. There she is in the post, getting to the rack, off the glass, perfectly executed. 42-40, NC State on top. All right, keep an eye on that game as well. But in Raleigh, we got a game to get back to between NC State and Miami. Nothing better than dogs at halftime.
Taylor, I want to see Mitch out there doing
my God, my dog would perform terribly in a halftime contest. Debbie Antonelli, Angel Gray have you the rest of the way for the ladies up here. I'm Taylor Tannenbaum. We'll see you after the game.
Welcome you to ACC Network Basketball presented by Ally and Peekaboo. We're back at the Reynolds Coliseum after the first half. What a thrilling one. We had 3 lead changes, tied 4 different times, and NC State with the advantage after the first half. Thanks for joining us, Angel Gray, alongside the Hall of Famer and Debbie Antonelli. And we can say so many great things about what we saw in each quarter for each team, but we'll start with Miami, and they found their success because of the 3-ball.
They set the tone early, and they were ready to play, and they made shots early, which allowed them to play their zone. And because they could stay in their zone, it kept NC State out of transition. Their 3-ball was fantastic. Marshall with 2, Rogers with 2 deep ones, and Hilton off the bench with 2. They made 6, which is 18 of their 40. So NC State's got to do a better job guarding the 3-point line. But then there's Isaiah James. Smooth, comfortable, aggressive, doesn't make a bad decision. She's always open as far as I'm concerned, and she's going to have to continue to make shots in the quarter court until NC State can open it up with their defense.
Yeah, absolutely. She's the only NC State player in double figures. She has 11, 5 for 9 from the field as we take a look at the game summary. How about, as you mentioned, in that second quarter, NC State outscored Miami 24-14. Anything else that stand out about what this game has gotten us to?
Well, I'm looking at the rebounding, and you would think that NC State, with its size advantage at almost every position on the floor, would have a bigger margin. They're only +2. And Miami has turned the ball over 7 times, but NC State has only scored 13 points off of those. So taking care of the ball will be important. And staying tough on the glass, Miami sticking with the pack.
That was something that they wanted to, as in Miami, wanting to improve on after a game ago. 28 turnovers against Duke, shot 36% from the field, and that has not been the case here in Raleigh.
Haley Cavender can make that move in her sleep. I'm telling you, her pivot around the rim, because she's smaller, she's learned how to finish in the paint. They've got 22 paint points.
Quick response on the other side by Zoe Brooks.
I think Zoe Brooks gets to the elbow, and her shots at the elbow have to be about 60%. She's really good from that spot on the floor.
Has 6 points, 3 for 7 from the field. Miami trying to work it on the inside. As Cameron Williams can't find the bottom of the bucket. And off the foot of Isaiah James, and a backcourt after Jules Gallion looked at Carla Fountain for some help. Westmore not too thrilled about that conclusion.
Now watch this right here. This hits Isaiah James. I'm not sure she had crossed over the midcourt stripe.
And dare I say that Joyce Gallion actually turned around after.
Again.
The ball went off the back of her foot. Got to credit Miami. What they've been able to do, have been playing shorthanded over the past couple of games. 2 players have returned for them after the Duke game. Darian Rogers and Lamaya Hilton actually didn't suit up against Duke, as we have a turnover for Miami.
Kai Crutchfield, last year's guard, sitting down here next to us courtside. You gotta love the enthusiasm of Kai over here. She's yelling at the ref, she's calling out plays, she's helping on defense. He's like another guard over here on this side of the court for NC State, sitting courtside.
Well, if I can say, I don't think it's left you either. I occasionally see you diving on the floor, yelling at the officials. You know, you get involved with the game still.
I do post you up a little bit over here, Angel.
Once or twice, and that's where the story
I haven't gotten a technical on this side of the floor yet.
Wolfpack with a 4-point advantage. Their biggest lead of this ball game has been tight the entire time, and the behind the back pass, ill-advised for Miss Cavender.
I love how hard she curls, how hard she works without the ball. It's the right idea, but you see in the corner, she's got her feet locked, and Adams not ready to move her feet to get behind the ball and catch it.
Her 4th turnover. It's going back and forth, a little bit of hot potato to start the second half.
Well, at least it's a dead ball turnover in Miami's situation, because NC State can tilt the floor quickly with their team speed.
So here comes Hannah Cavender at the top of the screen. Marshall, who has the most points she's had against an ACC opponent. And another one falls down for Haley Cavender.
That's that curl I'm talking about, working off the ball, accelerating into that screen and ready to score.
Trieger. It's almost like she doesn't play like a freshman. 6'6". You mentioned her stellar play over the last 5 games. Shooting 62% from the field in that stretch. Haley Cavender, the flare, nothing there from the 3, and Sanaya Rivers got poked in the eye by Anae Adams. That is going to be her 3rd foul. So 3 fouls for Cameron Williams for Miami, and now 3 fouls for Anae Adams, who will take a seat.
Trisha Cullip loves that little freshman point guard, Anae Adams. She was talking to us about her before the game today at shoot-around.
Up and under, no good for Brooks, and here comes Roberts. More ball movement. Seen a lot of that as Rogers, another deep 3. That's what you miss against Duke.
Well, and when I'm watching the Cavenders, they're so connected and understand who to get the ball to, when and where. Haley was telling Hannah where to pass it.
Rogers getting the starting nod, has started the last 6 games that she's been available. 1 of the 3 from the wing.
The other thing too, Angel, when's the last time you saw 2 players on the floor chew gum like the Cavenders? They're chewing gum the whole game. I don't see players chew gum in the game anymore.
You know what, I don't know how we can find that stat, but I'm going to effort it to the best of my ability at the next break.
You know, Haley was chewing gum at shoot-around, but Hannah was not. But in the game, Hannah's definitely chewing gum.
The backdoor no good for Haley. She comes back, 15 on the shot clock. Tried the hezzy, mishandled it for a second before Jasmine Roberts was able to get to the rim and get fouled.
Miami has NC State a half a pass late. They are chasing on every action. And Trisha Cullip has done an excellent job dialing up what she wants her team to run. And you got small, quick guards in the backcourt, and it reminds me a little bit of the North Carolina men. Small and quick in the backcourt, undersized, but finding a way to spread the floor.
Well, speaking of the men's, we have a men's basketball triple header next Saturday, February 22nd, right here on the ACC Network. Georgia Tech and BC start the day at 2 Eastern, followed by Chase Hunter and Clemson in Dallas, taking on SMU. Then Virginia Tech and Miami caps off the day. Woo! All the games, all the action right here on the ACC Network as Isaiah James, who picked up her second foul on the other end, can't connect. Still looking for points here in the second half.
Miami in that 2-3 zone. NC State had not seen any zone as Roberts gets to the free throw line. The last 2 games, Angel, last 4 games, NC State has not seen any zone. But the teams that do play zone, that they've played against already, Syracuse, Virginia, and Pitt. And they did work on it some at shoot-around today.
And Miami has thrown different looks at them throughout this game. You mentioned, too, them being shorthanded due to illness. How about Aurora Allman also out? Didn't make the trip with Miami.
The other thing, too, is because Miami has scored with NC State, they've been able to get back, play that zone, and keep NC State, who averages 76 points, but over the last 4 games has been averaging 90.
Could you imagine saying that Miami has more fast break points than the Pack? Advantage 13-9 as Madison Hayes counts the bucket.
Yeah, that's the one deficiency, but you got to bring some help when the Cavenders get posted up.
Madison Hayes with 5 points. We mentioned Isaiah James leading the way with 13. 2 players in double figures for Miami, Natalia Marshall as well as Haley Cavender. And another 3 ball goes down.
Wes Moore is shrugging his shoulders. How does she get that open? I mean, this is where you got to have a little bit sense of urgency if you're NC State. Miami's not going away at this point in the game. They are playing with a lot of confidence. And that's the versatility of Madison Hayes. Angel, post up on the last possession.
Shooting 37% from distance this season. That is her 32nd on the season. Haley Cavender up and under, going at a couple of bodies. 1 too many steps, gives it up. And that gets everyone involved here at Reynolds Coliseum. Well, the Wolfpack, along with Madison Hayes, putting them in striking distance, less than 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Well, what's a team without their gum box? And apparently the Cavender twins are heavily involved in this gum box. I like the tropical twist.
Do you think that's the team box, or it's Haley's or Hannah's box? I think they carry their own. I mean, I gotta find out. You know what? NIL deal, bazooka. Double bubble.
Double bubble, the Spearmint twins.
That was the Juicy Fruit twins, wasn't it?
I think we're onto something. Did we get a piece of this?
Google. I love it, though. They do chomp on that gum.
I tried to. And almost choked in the game, so that was the end of that one. Sanaya Rivers comes up. The relentlessness of her to stick with it gets her another 2. So Sanaya Rivers now with 5 points. It's been a quiet night for her.
Isaiah James is on the Haley Cavender matchup. And what a good play again, Trisha Cullip. Her ATOs have been fantastic. What a great hire by Miami to replace the legend, Katie Meyer.
Toledo's winningest head coach, 6-time MAC Coach of the Year. I checked on a Basketball Hall of Fame. I mean,
I checked on Coach Meyer. I wanted to find out what was up. Teaching a class, raising some money for Miami, sitting courtside, hassling the officials in game.
I just want to play golf with her.
She's a heck of a golfer. You know, if you want her, she's a long driver.
Well, I thought you were the long driver.
No, Katie.
I'm confused.
No, Katie has outdriven me many times.
Jones back in the ball game for the Pack and knocks down the mid-range shot. Now sitting at 5 points as Rogers wanted every piece of the three, and instead it'll go the other way as Haley Cavender commits the foul against Isaiah James. That'll be her second.
I mean, she's a 7 rebound per game player. Like, that's amazing for her size. That's how tough she's. A great measure of her toughness. And she has 6 right now.
Past 1,000 rebounds in her career against Virginia Tech. The only active player in college basketball to have. Now, 2,500 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 500 assists. But 11 points on the other end, too, as NC State, now with the 4-point edge over Miami, gets this place rocking.
Big splash by Madison Hayes.
Big bucket. Can Haley respond? Hubbard in the paint, still looking for help. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Hannah comes up with 5. Marshall might heave it and does. What about it?
Come on. Miami. 9 triples in the game. 9.
Natalia Marshall has had 11 and 10 against ACC opponents, and right now she's rocking a 17-point game, and we still have a quarter left.
Miami averages 6 triples a game, and they've got 9. Isaiah draws just enough help. Marshall, late clock, over 6-6 Trigger.
James got the edge. How good is that?
Okay, I'll tell you how good it is. We've seen it already all season. Here comes Isaiah James.
15 points for the senior out of Virginia Beach. Less than 2 minutes here in the third. Jasmine Roberts gets the bounce pass, finds Marshall. Shooting over the 6'6" Trigger.
I'd run something for James right here.
Sanaya playing bully ball and gets it.
Except that's a smart play. She had the advantage. Westmore told us today he didn't mind his players breaking off one-on-one when they had a matchup.
Rivers with 7, 5, and 5.
NC State scouted that elevator door screen play today, and they did a good job of defending it. Oh my, that's just Cavender going one-on-one.
That's the matchup you want to keep your eyes on. Isaiah James taking on the committee. Nothing there, and it will stay with the Wolfpack. How quick, how fast is this game? Debuting some amazing guard play in this matchup.
It's elite, and you can't have enough guards when you get into this time of year.
Sam Jones couldn't connect, tried to track it down, is able to get her hand in and ties it up, but it still goes back to Miami.
I've known Trisha Cullip for a long time. I've watched her teams in Toledo. I know how good she is. Such a well-respected coach across all of college basketball. Getting her opportunity. She's had other opportunities. She waited for the right one. She's been very sought after in her time at Toledo.
And made the trip down south where she said it's a little bit better weather. And Coral Gables mentioned that she took a picture and said, oh, is this the weather that you guys have back in Ohio?
She was learning about tropical plants and fruits and peacocks, and she was telling us all about her adjustment. Hadn't seen any gators yet in Miami, though.
Which is strange that she's seen more peacocks than gators, but okay. Less than a minute here in the third.
Did you know peacocks can fly?
Now I do.
Coach Cullip said they fly on top of her house when she lets the dog out after them.
Oh boy, I got some Googling to do. Haley Cavender connects on the 3.
I mean, such a competitor. So fun to watch. Never changes their expression. Neither one of them.
Now with 16 points, it makes it 12 consecutive games where she's knocked down a triple.
Last possession. They're going to horns. Look for Madison Hayes on a flare. There she is.
6 on the shot clock. A lot of contact, a block call. And Renee Adams is irate.
You know, remember, we don't have the restricted area anymore. That line doesn't matter. However, I mean, she's under the basket. This is something we got to fix because the collisions that are right under the bucket shouldn't matter. In the men's game, they don't call any charges anymore. Everything is a block. But watch this right here. Look how far under the basket she is. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Well, that tough one also gives her her 4th and sends her to the bench. Well, here's our first men's lacrosse game of the season right here on the ACC Network and the ESPN app. Number 7, Virginia hosts Richmond at Faulkner Stadium. Coverage begins Saturday morning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Some activity on the other end as Isaiah James thought she came up with the ball. Instead, Miami gets it back 3.4 on the game clock. Plenty time for Haley. Sends it back up. Roberts can't find the rim and 3 frames down, and Wolfpack still up 4.
You can't lose Haley Cavender in transition. Watch how hard and wide Miami runs. And then Cavender steps into the trail and drills it. We got a 2-possession game going into the 4th.
The ACC's Committee for Racial and Social Justice, in conjunction with its member institutions, have identified February 13th through the 23rd as ACC Unity Week, and 10 more minutes to go. And what a game we have on our hands, as Isaiah James has been special. So special that she's been acknowledged as one of the top guards in the country. Here's your Wooden Award late mid-season top 20 watch list. And of course, she finds herself on that board and a couple other great guards in the ACC.
I think the ACC is loaded with talented guards. I mean, it's every night. Look what we're seeing here tonight. The Cavender twins with Darian Rogers and Jazz Roberts. Miami's made 10 triples. They're 10 for 20, shooting 50%.
Coming in, shooting 31% on the season, and have been very good from outside, really set the tone of what they were going to be. You got to credit Rogers, too. Rayon Rogers, who was ill just a couple of days ago and has put on a show, as well as Natalia Marshall.
Well, she didn't make the trip to Duke.
No.
So it's good to see her healthy, and boy, she's played well. She might need an ice bucket after the game because her arm's falling off.
There it is. Haley Cavender comes out of the pack with the rock. Corner 3, of course, Rogers demanding the ball in the corner, couldn't knock it down. Now Rogers 3 for 7 from outside. Madison Hayes continues to build on those 1,000 points.
Really good find by Brooks. Good lift.
It's the rhythm in which they're finding right now. The pack up top 7, and a quick response from Williams.
Cameron Williams.
How about Cameron Williams, though? Over the last 2 games has had double-doubles. Has been very special for them in the paint. This time, Jasmine Roberts paying close attention to where Madison Hayes is on the floor. They have the numbers. Quick dish. That's rim-to-rim running by Williams.
I think Miami's transition game has been better than NC State's tonight.
18 fast break points for the Canes, 9 for the Pack. Under, nothing there for Awu. More speed, more spins, more buckets for Haley Cavender.
And look at her face, all business. As she's given NC State the business.
Just down one as Isaiah James, the baseline taken away by Hannah Cavender, and a travel call. What a start to this fourth by Miami.
A one-player fast break. Crossover and the spin. What a move. Haley told us all last year, remember, she didn't play. She was going to TCU. Then Hannah wanted to play. They called Tricia Cove and said, we want to come back. She spent the whole year working out.
She said every day in the gym.
2 days.
2 days in the gym. Just loves, breathes this game.
Trigger with a twist.
Sanaya Rivers left alone by the bench, short on the attempt. Jasmine Roberts lost it between her legs. Rivers comes up. Jones thought about it. 3 ball.
No, when Isaiah James is open and calling for it, you got to get it to her, but good rebound on the weak side.
So Tilda Trieger now in double figures. Puts 3 in double figures for the Pack.
You can feel this crowd starting to become a factor.
Hannah backdoor, beautiful basketball.
Come on, this is awesome. What a game. Are you kidding me? Did you show up today thinking Miami was going to bring this? This is a top 10 NC State team. Tricia Cullop's team is 3-9 in league play. They're trying to make sure they make the ACC tournament.
They said, we want to make sure we show up. Sanaya Rivers comes in for the rebound. Mind you, they said they hated the taste they had in their mouth after that 49-90 loss to Duke. And it doesn't get any easier as they see FSU February 16th. But right now they said this is the most important game to get. Hannah held up. Got to credit how they've been able to take care of the ball. Coming off a game where they turned it over 28 times. Just 10 turnovers for Miami.
Good job stuffing the flare. Sanaya Rivers on Haley Cavender.
5 on the shot clock. It's winding. Trying to get around Sanaya. No easy task. And that's why.
Sanaya Rivers right there. That's the kind of work that separates NC State. As this crowd is really into it right now. Watch this right here. Long arms, great reach. She did a good job getting over top of the flare screen, so Cavender didn't get a look.
How about her effort against the nation's leading scorer, Tanaya Latson? Gave her some issues down in Tallahassee. Played both sides of the ball. Couldn't connect on that one. Hannah trying to work against Zam as Rogers off the deck. Beautiful dish. Off the rim. Williams blocked from behind. It will stay with Miami.
What a play by Madison Hayes. The hustle. You cannot afford game slippage right here. You have to guard the ball, not the action. You got to keep teams in front. You have to execute with great detail.
And a timeout call for Tricia Cullop. Actually, she said she wanted a timeout. They're saying a 5-second call. So a turnover.
I don't blame her for being upset about that. You have to know as an official, you have to know that there's a chance she wants to burn a timeout. And right in front of her. Watch where she's calling for timeout. She's calling for it right there.
And so we play on. Less than 5 in this fourth quarter. James barely got it away to Jones. The dish. Hayes, top of the key. Why not? 19 for Miss Hayes.
Madison Hayes, you shoot till your arm falls off. 4 triples is the most she's had in a single game all season.
Leads the team in rebounds and showing she can lead in points as well as she's doing it today.
Oh, what a play, yes. I'm telling you,
I might just sit back.
I'd like to pack the twins up and take them on the road with me right now.
Only if it comes with the gum.
I'll provide them all the gum they need.
What a fun game we have here at Reynolds Coliseum. Miami's dropped their last two. Looking for a big win in ACC play, trying to keep their tournament hopes alive.
Got to stop the ball.
Haley on a dime. Another 20-point game for Haley Cavender, her 6th of the season.
Now, NC State has been in more close games than Miami has. They have veteran guards in the backcourt, and they have size.
So a foul on the floor as Isaiah James actually went flying, hit the deck. But they will say Cameron Williams will get the foul, and that'll be her 4th. What a game. Wow, tied at 74. It will remain with the Pack when we get back.
ACC Women's Basketball is presented by Ally, the bank that's your ally. And I'll tell you who's an ally for NC State. For 4 years, the manager, Ethan Fancher. He's a coach's kid. His dad, Houston, is on Westmore's staff. And he's been a terrific manager, scout team, analytics. He keeps the iPad over there. Houston, his dad, on the bench with him. And then there's the woman who ties it all together, Kathy, his mom. Houston's wife, Westmore's first point guard at UT Chattanooga. And boy, does she have some stories. We want to say best wishes to Ethan. He's a manager. He's put in a lot of time, and he wants to be a coach. So somebody out there looking to hire somebody good. I'm vouching for him right now.
I love that you said has put in the time because it takes a village. 2 on the shot clock as Rivers had to turn around and heave it. Cavender will wave everyone off, and Isaiah James shares a laugh underneath with Jasmine Roberts as they took a little collision course.
You know, I've been highlighting manager games on the men's side for years. Jay Billis started doing that, and I think it's really great that Rebecca Lobo has started doing it as well.
Yes. If only people knew what happens behind the scenes, how much you sacrifice to chase your dreams of impacting others.
To prepare teams for this right here. Yes. Good D right there by James.
And this is one that is going down to the wire. James blocked by Marshall.
What a play by Marshall in transition. Miami has done an excellent job getting back. They have done a good job of stopping the ball, loading their defense to the ball. And that time right there was an example of it. Now they get to set their D and make NC State take the ball out of bounds.
Gotta credit the associate head coach, Fitzroy Anthony, who really made sure everyone knew the play calls and everything and made sure everyone was on the same page at shoot around.
Drive right at, you could drive right at Haley Cavender or Hannah Cavender and set up Madison Hayes on that single side right there.
Hannah clogged up, resets at the top of the key as we're approaching the 2-minute mark here in the 4th. And if you just joined us, buckle up.
Overload.
It's gone back and forth as Miami has 5 to work with. James trying to hold down Hannah. They send it on the inside to Williams. The hook short. Great defense by Trieger.
Holding their ground, building a wall. Really nice play call, though, by Trisha Culp. She was trying to get that single side, naked side, 2-man game.
The Pack have not been successful the last 4 trips down the floor. And a bit of a scoring drought over 2 minutes. But Miami has been too.
I like the no call there.
We're under 90 seconds in this ball game as Hannah Cavender.
You got to lock in right here. No slippage. Details. Stop the ball and rebound.
The last 2 games that Miami has lost have been by double figures. They fought tonight. This one rims around.
I don't know how that doesn't fall. NC State got a real opportunity here.
A sea of red in this building, hoping for a bucket. And Zoe Brooks delivered it with a chef's kiss.
For that time, the official looked at Tricia Cullip because they knew that she was going to call timeout to advance the ball.
Some time may have been taken off of the clock before that or after the timeout was called. We'll see if they put more time on, but what a fun one we have here. We'll be back. This has been a game that is delivered in so many ways. You're looking at what a win would mean for both teams. How about Miami getting their first win against an AP top team since January of 2024? And of course it was against NC State.
Well, and Westmore, only one other coach actively has more wins in women's college basketball than Wes, and that's Gino Auriemma. So he's been in this situation before with his team. They work on situational offense late game. They got to get a stop right here on the defensive end.
How about over the past 5 years, NC State also ranked 7th in win percentage, only trailing Stanford that's in the ACC. Haley Cavender pulls up, nothing there. They still have time left. Do you foul?
You play good D right here. You have time.
Haley Cavender, 14 points in the second half, 20 overall.
There are fouls to give. Miami doesn't have any fouls in this quarter. But you want to play good D right here. You got to get a rebound.
Westmore calls the timeout.
I can't believe Miami has no team fouls. And if the board is right, they have two team fouls.
Two
I'm
team
sorry.
fouls. NC State does not have team fouls.
So Coach Cullip has a decision to make here. Does she want to commit any fouls to make it difficult for NC State with 8 seconds on the shot clock? You know, I might give a couple, but I would only give them on the dribble down, when they dribble the ball down and are away from the basket, not in the scoring area. This is an interesting scenario right here.
Well, we will soon find out what the verdict is, but 13 seconds in the game, 8 on the shot clock. Only down 2.
I might go with a hard trap and a quick foul, trying to go for the ball. You want to make NC State use up some of those 8 seconds. This is where you have an advantage, where you can advance the ball. It's an interesting situation to be in, or you can play really good defense right here. But if I'm NC State, I am inbounding the basketball on a direct feed to the post or something below the free throw line to make it really challenging if Miami does decide to foul. Plus, that gives me a chance to catch it in the scoring area and to be closer to the basket for an offensive rebound.
Both teams with 3 timeouts left. Some wheel here is James not being fouled. 3 on the game clock. Sanaya Rivers off the mark, and a timeout quickly by Miami, and the advancement with 4 seconds left in this ball game. So as they step aside, we'll do the same, but promise action after the break.
Back in Raleigh, 4 seconds left in the game. NC State with a 2-point lead. Miami timeout to advance the basketball. Miami with 2 timeouts remaining. NC State doesn't have any fouls. They have fouls to give right here. On the inbound, I would consider fouling. I would consider fouling and make Miami have to continue to bring the ball in bounds. And right now, .3, at least .3 has to come off the clock every time they inbound it. So you've got 4 opportunities to take the clock down. If I'm Miami, I'm doing what I said to do for NC State. I'm inbounding it in the scoring area. Direct feed to the block if I can, and then if I can get Cavender on a curl, I'm trying to do that. But if I'm NC State, if they dribble down, I foul. On the dribble up, I do not foul them. because then they can get into the scoring motion, shooting motion.
Another timeout called for Miami. Usually you see what the other team is going to set up, but it didn't take much time before calling that second timeout.
I think they want to be crystal clear right here on their sideline out of bounds. And remember at the beginning of the game, we talked about situational offense and why it was so important. And you're seeing here why it's important. I'm definitely fouling if I'm NC State, but you have to practice this. And you have to know how to foul in these situations. But I'm also telling the officials I'm trying to foul so that they know.
That's a great point. Having that communication, especially with speedy, quick guards.
Isaiah James on Haley Cavender.
Doesn't take the switch. Playing straight up. Haley Cavender gets all the way to the rim. It's short. Had the look, not enough in the leg. And how about 14-0 for the Pack at home?
I've seen tremendous relief, not celebration by NC State, and incredible disappointment by Miami. What an incredible finish. I think Isaiah James is trying to foul right here. That's a foul. Yet Cavender gets to the rim. What an incredible job, Haley Cavender. What a game, and she just leaves it short.
What a game for Miami as well. They do drop down to 13-11, so have dropped the last 3 games. They will see Florida State in their next matchup, but North Carolina moves on and gets another 20-win season as they advance to 20-4 after this win. And we'll see North Carolina, another ranked opponent, and a gauntlet in front of them for top 25 teams. What an impressive win for the Pack. And of course, we have the player and hero, in a sense, in this game. So much to celebrate. Yes, another 20-plus win for this team. Right. But when you're thinking about how you were able to establish yourself early in the game and get your 1,000th point, it was all go for you since that point.
Yeah, you know, me getting my 1,000th point was amazing. I couldn't have done it without my teammates, God, my family, and my coaches. You know, this is my late grandfather's birthday today. I mean, it's just a sign from God. But I can't thank him enough for this day. So.
And here's the bucket if you needed to relive it. You told me earlier, I wanted it for and one. Here's your parents' reaction. Yeah. You like this? I mean, just the support they've given you throughout your career.
I mean, they've just been so supportive of me, just with all the adversity that I've been through my whole college career. It's just been amazing how they've been through me, through the good and the bad and the ugly. So, I mean, I'm glad they're still here, and they're here to support me on this day.
Madison, let's talk about the end of the game right here, because I see relief on your face, not pure joy over the victory. How tough was it? Miami came ready to go.
Oh, yeah. You know, Natalie Marshall, she did a great job. I mean, she was killing us. But, you know, in the second half, we had to turn up our defense. I know it wasn't the best defense that we've had, like last game, Florida State, but we got to do better. But, I mean, a win is a win. We just got to go back to the drawing board and do better the next game because we play in Chapel Hill. So.
Yeah, North Carolina is going to bring a team that plays great defense. What about your transition defense? Miami really put a lot of pressure on you guys.
Yeah, we just got to do better getting ball side. That's been the main emphasis, and our guards got to get out of there. Us bigs, we got to get down there and get to the other bigs because they're running as fast as they can. So we just got to do better transition defense. I bet you that's what we're going to work on tomorrow. So
I'm sure you are. Take us through the huddle, the last play with Miami with the ball in front of their bench. Last opportunity. What were you guys just thinking there coming out of the huddle?
Just making sure we played great defense. We were going to try and foul, but, you know, Zaza played great defense.
I thought Isaiah did foul.
Oh, yeah, but, I mean, they didn't call it, and we were just trying to help in as much as we can. You know, number 14 and 15, they were killing us on threes, so we just didn't want to give up a three, if anything, and just go to overtime because we're great at home. But, you know, we came out with the win, so I'm excited.
14-0 now at home and 19 straight in this arena, and the fans were absolutely remarkable as they cheered you on to a thrilling win here at Reynolds Coliseum as you move on 20-4 on the season. And oh look, a couple of super fans as Madison Hayes' parents are still in the building.
Look at my buddies.
So an incredible finish here for NC State as they move on to 20-4 on the season. And a great finish here. That's all from the Reynolds Coliseum, where the final score is 76-74, all pack. And our entire crew, I'm Angel Gray saying so long from Reynolds Coliseum, and we'll send it to the studio. Taylor, you can take it away.
What a finish there in Raleigh, 76-74. NC State survives as a top 10 team against a Miami team just trying to keep pace to not miss the ACC tournament. How about that finish, Coach, and what you saw there at the end?
It was an amazing finish. I mean, they gave up pretty much a wide open layup to tie the game and send it into overtime. I know you're worried about the three-point line, but did you have fouls to give? Maybe when she got by you, that would have been the perfect time to foul. 2 seconds left.
Yeah, you're looking at that play right there when she splits the screen and she gets to the three-point line or right below the three-point line. Some conventional wisdom would say foul there because you had fouls to give. You weren't going to send them to the free throw line. You had like 5 fouls to give. So you want to kind of break it up and make Haley Cavender get out of her rhythm. But I guess Wes Moore just trusted his defense, wanted anything but a 3, and then if it goes to overtime, it goes to overtime. But Haley Cavender, we can't say enough about her. She played a great game. I think she was maybe surprised that she had such an open look with Trieger and all those bigs inside. I just want to give a lot of credit to Miami. I think it shows the depth of this league. Miami they should have a better record than what their roster reflects. Trisha Culp's done a really good job with that group in year 1. She inherited a roster where she had to go figure out who the heck can I get to play. And the Haley Cavender's having a great year. So let's give credit to Miami, and NC State finds a way. They survive.
Yeah, they did. And I agree. Great credit to Trisha Culp and the game plan that she had for this game. I mean, they came out from start to finish and really executed what she wanted them to do. Nat Marshall came through for them with a big game, 17 points, hit some threes, did some damage inside. I love that Madison Hayes interview after those. She's so mature. You know, we're going to learn from it. We're going to work on our transition defense tomorrow.
Yeah, I definitely think that should be the main key. I mean, hey, do your stretching, and then we're working on transition defense because they gave up a lot of threes. Miami shot the ball well. When even they was down by 5, you didn't see anything on their face where they say, oh, we're defeated. They gave the ball to Haley. They say, hey, you make a play for us. You make a play for yourself first. And if we're open, pass it. But if not, you take the score.
Earn that right.
And we know how good NC State's been in transition all year, right? They're so elite when they can get out and run. Miami outscored them 20-9 in transition. Credit Trisha Culp in Miami. They had a great plan. But when you look at NC State, this is what I love about this team. They can win in different ways. If you're able to get back, you're sending multiple players back, you're not really rebounding, you're trying to take them out of transition, they're still going to find ways to win. And that's the difference between really good teams and great teams. That's what we're seeing from NC State.
Yeah, and you know, we're at that point in the season where the pressure totally on NC State.
Yeah.
So Miami's coming out, they're loose, they're having a good time, they're just shooting shots and seeing what happens. And NC State's thinking, oh my God, we can't lose this game. I mean, they don't have a really bad loss on their schedule, so that would have been the one that knocks them out of the top 4 seeds. There's a lot going through their mind, but Isaiah James, when she turned down that last 3, that really surprised me because she's the one who I think has the confidence and the swagger to go ahead and take that shot.
Hey, Coach, if I'm a player, I'm like, y'all, good win. All right, who gonna put up their new shoes on? Because tomorrow practice is gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be a tough one.
It's gonna be a tough one, up and down. But it's also gonna be a learning experience for them because they really have to get better in transition defense because they relax so much. I'm like scoring. Some shots that they had, they were easy. They make a bad shot or make a tough shot. They got to realize they got to utilize what they have. They got the open shot. Take the open shot. Stop forcing things.
You know, I love this as a coach because you won. Okay, you won. And so they're feeling okay. But now you can really get up after the tape. We're not going to watch all the highlights today. We're going to watch the lowlights of some things. And this is what it's kind of a wake-up call. This is what's going to happen. Every team is coming out now. They're giving our best shot. We have got to be prepared. We got to do what we need to do offensively, defensively. The post came along today, and I thought they did a pretty good job.
Do want to focus real quick on Madison Hayes, who reached 1,000 career points tonight. She led the team with 19 points. She's such a key piece for this Wolfpack squad and what they want to do. Her maturity on display in that interview, but obviously on the court as well, Kelly.
Great teams have players like her. She knows her role. She's going to go out there and execute it to perfection. She also can have a game where she gives you 17, like she did tonight, and play really well. She can shoot the three. She's a really good defender. Westmore trusts her explicitly. She reminds me of, I'm not saying they're the same player, but she's almost kind of the Sony Citron for NC State, where on a different roster, she'd be the number one option. But on NC State, she really thrives and knows her role. And she's a veteran, Coach. You talk about her maturity. Fifth-year player, kind of calms them down.
And defensively, Miami's thinking, we got to stop James.
Sure.
Zoe Brooks is playing for, we got to watch out for Rivers. So now, all of a sudden, Madison Hayes finds herself wide open at the three-point line. She delivered.
10th straight 20-win season for Westmore and NC State Wolfpack.
Let's not gloss over that.
Yes, he's been an incredible coach, and the consistency is what really stands out.
Yeah, it really is. 10 years. I mean, that's a lot of different players on your roster, and they are just doing a fabulous job on the sidelines. I mean, he is an old-school coach. I love the way he looks at his team and talks about his team. He's doing a great job again.
Westmore is always going to have fun while also coaching his ladies. NC State riding an 8-game win streak heading into tonight, hosting the Miami Hurricanes. They are at Reynolds Coliseum. So what would the Pack do as they try to continue climbing toward March Madness? There's Haley Cavender. Look, she may be a good dancer, but she can play ball too, Kelly. Canes came out fast and in a hurry.
Haley Cavender was so good tonight for Miami. Finished with 28 and 6. Miami came to play.
Mid-third quarter, Canes up 1. Haley Cavender, there she goes, buries the 3. Miami up 4 at that point, but ensuing possession. How about Madison Hayes tonight, Ivan?
Madison showed up big. She is a big-time player for them. They're a player that just get hidden and lost in the sauce sometimes.
1,000 career points for Madison Hayes. You see mom and dad cheering her on in the stands. After that bucket, NC State up 4. A minute later, Canes only down 2. You know who it is. It's Cavender. She lays it in. We're tied at 74. Under a minute to go, still tied at 74. Zoe Brooks straight to the rack, easy layup. NC State takes the lead. Miami would have one final chance to tie it. Coach, what did you see here?
Well, this was an interesting play. She got a great look at the basket, gets in for a layup. They could have fouled because they had a foul to give, but just a great play.
Yeah, she missed it, so it favors NC State 76-74. There will be no overtime. Another win for the Pack, and that means 10th straight season, they've won 20 wins or more. That's an incredible feat for head coach Westmore and the consistency he's built there at NC State. After the game, Madison Hayes joined Debbie Antonelli and Angel Gray.
Madison, let's talk about the end of the game right here, because I see relief on your face, not pure joy over the victory. How tough was it? Miami came ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Natalie Marshall, she did a great job. I mean, she was killing us. But, in the second half, we had to turn up our defense. I know it wasn't the best defense that we've had, like last game, Florida State, but we got to do better. But, a win is a win. We just got to go back to the drawing board and do better the next game because we play in Chapel Hill. So
take us through the huddle, the last play, with Miami with the ball in front of their bench. Last opportunity. What were you guys just thinking there coming out of the huddle?
Just making sure we played great defense. We were going to try and foul, but, Zaza played great defense.
I thought Isaiah did foul.
Oh, yeah, but, they didn't call it, and we were just trying to help in as much as we can. Number 14 and 15, they were killing us on threes, so we just didn't want to give up a 3, if anything, and just go to overtime because we're great at home. But, we came out with the win, so I'm excited.
Little insight there from Madison Hayes into that final play and what they talked about beforehand. NC State pushed to the brink in this one, but they still got it done. What did you see out of the Wolfpack tonight?
It was great resilience because Miami really came out strong. And I kept thinking, it's going to be fine. NC State's going to pull away. But Miami just hung with them the entire game. They would have lost that game in the beginning of the season. But NC State's at a point right now, they're playing with a lot of confidence. The only thing that bothered me a little bit was Isaiah James turning down maybe the winning basket late in the game. She was open from 3, over-penetrated a bit, kicked it out, and they missed a shot.
I think she just made a mistake there. Normally, Isaiah James is ready to let it fly, and she did play well overall. Zoe Brooks hit that great shot because NC State has so many weapons, and that's what makes them so tough to handle. They can win in a lot of different ways, just like North Carolina. We mentioned that earlier. But also give credit to Miami. I thought Miami played really well. They came to play. They hit 10 threes. Haley Cavender is a great player, 28 and 6 tonight. She was cooking ivory, and sometimes, this is the ACC. Like, other players have players too, and Miami looked really good.
They really did. I mean, it's fun and exciting to watch Haley Cavender. The things that she can do at her size and the way she penetrates. I mean, get everybody open. I mean, it's just a joy to see her, and she's just a full-out competitor. She's going to do whatever it takes. And to be honest with you, I like the dance that she be doing before the game. I think it's
she's not just a TikToker, though.
I actually saw that live when I did the Miami game a couple weeks ago. The Cavenders, look, they're grinding, okay? They're out there 2 hours before game time after shoot-around doing their TikToks, paying the bills, and then going out there and dropping 20.
They're businesswomen and basketball players.
They're a business.
Full-time jobs, those two.
But that's good. They take care on the basketball court. So, hey, whatever you do off the court, enjoy it.
Hey, Nat Marshall had a great game as well. 17 points.
Yes, he did.
Really, that was a really fun game to watch.
Yeah.
But good for NC
And
State.
she's shooting the three so well for Miami. Prior to her career at Miami, at Notre Dame, she never hit a three. Didn't hit a single three in all of her years at Notre Dame. And at Miami, she's just letting it fly. It's crazy.
Sometimes all you need is a change of environment.
Right.
Yeah.
But another win for NC State, and maybe a little bit of a moral victory for Miami because they did keep it close against the Pack. NC State, what candy would you assign the Wolfpack?
We mean this with love. Okay, NC State, they are our Sour Patch Kids. First they're sour, then they're sweet, right? Okay, so NC State did not have the best start to the year. They did play a very tough schedule. They played South Carolina, they played LSU, they lost those games. They did beat Ole Miss, that was a good win in the non-con. But look at their last 9 games. They are on fire, averaging over 80 points per game. Isaiah James has stepped it up a notch. They're not turning the ball over. They are absolutely hot. And I think some of the big reason for that are the actual kids on their team, the freshmen in Lorena Awu and Tilda Trieger. These two bigs have emerged for NC State, and they're playing really well. On this play here, Duke, textbook high hedge. Lorena Awu reads it. She's going to trust her guard to figure it out. So I'm going to get in the paint, and I'm going to make myself available here, post up a smaller guard, De Jesus, that ends up on me. Ooh. And with the finish, Awu was fantastic for NC State in their win over Duke. Here's another situation with Awu. She's open on the pick and roll, doesn't get the pass, but she stays in the play, stays locked in. Madison Hayes takes the shot. Awu said, I didn't get the ball there, but I'm going to find a way to make myself useful, get on the glass, and get this offensive rebound over fellow freshman Toby Fournier. Then look at the score in that situation. That was a massive play by Lorena Awu. And then how about Tilda Trieger, another true freshman, another kid, Sour Patch Kids for NC State. Everyone's covered on this baseline out of bounds. She makes herself available, uses that 6'6" frame. She had 16 points and 14 rebounds in this win for NC State over Florida State. Another situation where she's open, but they don't find her. But that's okay. When you're playing with a team with all these guards, you've got to make yourself useful in other ways. Grabs that offensive rebound and is able to score between 3 Florida State defenders. So Sour Patch Kids, I think maybe even Westmore would agree. First they're sour, now they're sweet, and now they're really sweet. And look, Sour Patch Kids are delicious. So NC State, you're welcome.
Coach, is it true you've never tried Sour Patch?
It's true.
Okay, so we're going to have to open that in the break and make sure in the final block of the show that she gets a Sour Patch Kid.
Wow, Coach.
What's impressed you most about the evolution of this Wolfpack team, Ivory?
You know, just how they playing, but a woo. Just
woo,
woo. Yes.
All name team as well.
Yes, it's just her presence down there. And it's good to see how the guards are really setting her up for success. They're not throwing her the ball in positions where she cannot score. You know, they're giving it to her where she knows she's comfortable. She's rebounding the basketball. She's playing in space. She knows she may not get the ball, even though she shows her numbers on the first possession. But she knows if the shot goes up, for her to get that good position, get the rebound, and she's been doing well for NC State.
I think that's the reason that they went from sour to sweet, because of their bigs. At the beginning of the year, they were just so young and so untested and inexperienced.
Sure.
And you're right, the guards were giving them the ball at the wrong time, at the wrong spot. They got a little frustrated, they stopped throwing it in, and now they've worked out how they can help each other.
Westmore, a lot happier now with his team playing very sweet basketball.